Hello, Distinctive Schools math teachers. This is a video explaining how to uh, score a math CFA on the answering, solving, and understanding rubric, entering that data, and then conducting data analysis meetings with your colleagues. So as you know, the CFAs themselves are embedded into the curriculum maps, and after the students have taken the assessment, the next step is to go in and score them. And our scoring looks like this. You can see the rubric here. It is a modified version of what we've done in the past. Please note, 5th grade is piloting a program where the rubrics are actually embedded directly onto the page. And as we determine the success with that, we'll expand that out. But basically what we're looking for on every question is answering, solving, and understanding. Did the student answer the question completely and correctly? And you basically score that just based on did they answer it completely and correctly. Then go through and look at, well, how did they get to their answer? Did they have a viable strategy or plan to get them there? And then you rate that on a scale of 0 to 2. And then finally, based on those two kind of more tangible pieces of information, this is where you have to interpret a little bit and decide, was there evidence of student understanding and to what degree, rated on a scale of 0 to 2. Let's look at a sample question from a 3rd grade assessment from last year and look at a couple of different answers that students had so you can kind of gauge what we're talking about with this information. This first one, you can see here that the teacher scored this a 6, which is 2 points per answering, solving, and understanding. And basically the way that this teacher scored this was they looked at their answer. Okay, this is 7 square units. Explain what a unit square is. A unit square is, or a square unit is a square that is a unit long and is used to measure area. Okay, so that's the first part of the question. And how do you know? I know the area because I counted the square units. Okay, so this teacher decided that the answer was complete and correct, 2 points. Their method for solving it was to count the squares and fill them in. So that's viable, 2 points. And then the last part is that this teacher believed that the student is showing enough evidence in their answer to explain that they understand what a square unit is and that you can count up square units to find the area in this irregular shaped polygon. Well, if we compare that to another student and we look down here, we can see that not everyone had as concrete of an understanding. This child also counted and filled in 7 square units. So for answering, and they also explained what a square unit is to them and how they could know the area of the shape. So they did get 2 points for answering. Their method of doing it, counting and shading, that is solid. But if you read this short sentence, it's a little bit vague as to how well a child understood this particular question. So the teacher interpreted this evidence as being about a 1 on understanding, and this child might need some more conceptual support in what square units are and how we use them to calculate area. One more example on the same question. You can see here that this child made a mistake and actually came up with 8 square units. Even though they made a mistake here saying that they did 7 square unit, that one they kind of got dinged for answering incorrectly, but their system could work, and it seems like they had a decent understanding of what they needed to do. It looks like they just made a mistake. Sorry, I lied. One final one. If you look at this one, the child did get 7 square units, but they skipped what the square unit was. And then they also, the teacher also took 1 point for understanding because there's not enough evidence to say that a child really understands the conceptual piece. Yeah, they can fill in 7 square units, but there's not really connecting that back to what is area and how does this square unit work. So once you've gone through and scored all of your assessments on that 6-point rubric, the next step is to go in to your data folder. And let's go into Bucktown and look at, I'm going to open it in Drive, and look at 3rd grade, and let's just go ahead and say this was Miss Weisberg. And you go in and you can enter each of these scores as you scored them according to the rubric. And you can use this drop down if you're going really, really fast. It might be easier to use the tab function and score the resulting assessment in the, or recorded rather, their scores in this particular spreadsheet. You'll notice that it color codes automatically when you enter the information. That could be very helpful with grouping. Let's go ahead and just fill this with a couple of pieces of data. So what you could do is then, let's say the whole class struggled with one particular question, and you want to kind of see where the students could be grouped for some small group reassessment. You can just simply click on one of these drop-down bars, and it'll automatically sort the whole field based on student performance on that particular aspect. That was probably a bad example because they were already in order. See, it moves the whole line, and then you could see that these two students would be in different clusters. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and undo my changes so Ms. Weisberg doesn't have a mess in front of her, and we're going to go back to the site. So the last aspect, so you've scored using the rubric, you've entered the data into your folders, and then the last step that we would ask is after all teachers in your team have done their scoring and their data entry, is to go through this process. And again, I'll iterate, just like in cognitive planning, this is a process, not a product. This is not about you filling out a worksheet to say that you have complied and done this activity. The idea is we want to go through these this protocol to think through how are our students learning from this, what kind of steps do we need to take to reteach any aspects, and what are some things that that we can learn from this formative data that we have. There are a few questions about whole group and a few questions about small group. Okay. So that is, in a nutshell, our plan for scoring, entering, and reflecting upon the math CFA data. As always, please don't hesitate to let us know if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you.